All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jaime Zamora, and we have Trevor Tripp here with us. Our goal here today is to show you guys what we've been working on, which is, our SIP Civil War game. This is our GED, and we're going to go ahead and kind of go somewhat of the logistics, what we came up with as far as asymmetric game for this class. So some of the abstract, just to kind of dive into, it's battleship zip codes and area codes kind of structure. So the idea here was to pretty much get you from a location standpoint and then match you against a rival or a team player and then literally battle it out, collecting some of the cards and obviously attack. So I'll go ahead and start kind of going into a little more in depth as far as the high concept. So literally, like as I was explaining to you guys before, this is going to be a multiplayer game. The idea is to battle out. You can either do 1v1, like kind of what we're going to be doing here for you guys with Trevor, but then you can also co-op. So technically speaking, and we want to really kind of get the whole zip code concept really into this game, because the idea is, for example, I'm a 177603 zip code. Anybody here in my zip code would be somewhat a potential friend that would allow me to collect some of those cards and then battle somebody out, like example, Trevor that is in New Hampshire, right? So the idea is to play either as a co-op or it's just going to be me against Trevor, my zip code against his zip code. And then, the idea is to really go out there and collect some of these cards that were going to allow us to somewhat battle in the game. So, just really kind of high level. It's gonna be a multiplayer. It's gonna be battle. The target audience that we're trying to go after is 15 years old to 80 years old, and you kind of will understand why as we go through the presentation. The platform that we have chosen is a mobile platform, meaning a phone platform. The reason why we really went down with a mobile platform is because we want to lean on some of the features that you get with a phone, which is your antenna, GPS, a camera, social media, capabilities of being able to kind of upload a picture, or more importantly, participate in some of the social media platforms. So we really wanted to kind of lean on that and just be remote. We didn't want to go into a more of a console. Some of the pillars that we're going to be talking about here are just literally kind of, why we went the way we went, and also more importantly, how you play the game. So, the idea here is to create a concept where you belong to a group. So that's why we did a zip code, or just kind of like that defend your hometown type of mentality. And, the idea here is, like I said, to create a battle scenario. So some of the logistics and materials that we're going to be working with is a grid. It's a number grid, somewhat of a target. I give you a coordinate, did I hit, did I not hit, right? This allows somewhat to play a defensive strategic mode and also an offensive strategic mode. The biggest thing here that we really kind of wanted to integrate was somewhat of the Facebook and social media standpoint. And what I mean by that is how you collect the resources. This is another pillar of ours where you literally have to go out and collect this, resources by checking in via Facebook. So I'll kind of show you guys a little bit what we did and how we did it. Hopefully you guys can see my screen, but technically speaking, throughout the day, we went, to certain particular categories of check-in. So for example, this one is at the park. I had to go at Spooky Nook Sports. I had to check in. I had to hashtag Zip Civil War. This would allow us to kind of hub that hashtag, and maybe, moving forward with the project, how to, pretty much manipulate and control the inputs and outputs of our players. You then get, the administrator that would be pretty much checking these hashtags, or, the server would then generate and post in your wall a card, right? And that's technically your resource. It would also post a code that will only last for a few minutes. That way you just literally, you got to be paying attention. And that's kind of the concept that we wanted to go after, which is like you paying attention. That's why we limited to 1 minute for you to claim that card. Once you enter that code, that card, populates on your phone app, and then literally you can then use it. This actually in particular is our infantry card, which pretty much describes a little bit of what the hit points are going to do, right? So it's a one square hit. It's technically time walking, and we're going to dive into why we went with walking and the destination in a little bit. I know Trevor is going to show a little bit of what that means in a couple of minutes. But technically speaking, the idea here so far is you have a grid, you set up your buildings, you go out there, you collect some of the resources. The resources are, dictated by, attack resources or defending resources, which is kind of somewhat of a shield. You're battling people out from zip code to zip code, and the idea is to either, create somewhat of an audience utilizing social media. And another key feature that we're integrating here in our project is you're also going to be able to somewhat trade in resources. So, again, at a very high level, some of the core mechanics that we're going to be using is the geo matching, right? So we're talking about where are you versus, who you're going to battle out based on the zip code. You're going to be able to gather resources by literally checking in. The idea here is also to lean a little bit on the monetizing side of things. We're going to make the game free, and it also the idea is to get some of those participant businesses to pay us some money in order to kind of generate these cards and kind of create that, go to that check-in and literally, today is a picture, tomorrow might be a receipt, but that kind of motivates somewhat of a traffic for that business. Some of the concepts that we were playing with Trevor was literally, hey, what's the slowest day at your business? Say Dunkin' Donuts or wherever you're at, and if it's a Tuesday, that's the date that we literally load up the majority of cards for that business, or elite cards, if you may, and people will have to go there, check in, take the picture of the receipt as a purchase, and then collect their resource. So kind of it's a two-way front, and in order to motivate the player and also potential investors. I will go ahead and kind of lean on Trevor on this one, so you can talk a little bit about a core mechanic 3, which is somewhat of how does it look like from a launch and attack, right? And the cards that we have, and what we were thinking about, somewhat of the time that it takes for me to attack you based on the card that you have. Go ahead, Trevor, take it away.
All right. So with our launch and attack mechanic, we are using basically Google Maps times for it. If you want, let's see, lower down, we have like our Warjet. We'll use that. It'll use Google Maps flying times from right now, since Jamie's in Pennsylvania and I'm in New Hampshire, it's around 8 hours for a plane to get from him to me. So it would take 8 hours for me to send a Warjet over to him. When you launch your attack, you have to wait that amount of time before you can figure out if you hit or miss. You don't have a return time because once you use it, it's done.
Perfect. And that's literally kind of the concept that we wanted to kind of get behind, right? So that the fact that is if I send you an infantry and it takes 6 hours to get there, you will be notified that you're getting attacked, that your arrival time is 6 hours. You don't really know if you're getting attacked with a very big hit point card or a small card. You don't even know where you're going to get hit, but you know that it would be a good idea to go gather some resources, like going to the park to collect a shield, or just kind of go into the list of resources in your area, or more importantly, and this is kind of where we thought that the game could get more dynamic and more multiplayer. We made it a rule that you can only interchange resources with people in your same zip code. So if you have a participant friend, some of your friends that are playing the game say, hey, listen, I'm about to get hit. Can you trade a shield for one of my war jets? Then you kind of have that interchange. And the way we kind of did that logistic was the same way we did with the Facebook check-in. You literally will go post a card at your friend's Facebook page, and it'll generate a code. So as you can see, this is also generating somewhat of an audience or visibility, aka the word of mouth, via social media. When people start seeing this cars, people start seeing that you're playing this type of game, and the game is free. Hopefully, the idea is to grow the audience because which allows us with more audience. We're literally allowed to charge more. Some of those participant, businesses, small businesses that would like to generate more traffic into their business, right? So, like I said, we really kind of went into a little bit of down on our presentation on the monetization, but we also created it somewhat of a how do you win type of scenario, and the reality is you have the ability to beat a player and then loot their resources. That also will obviously end that particular match, but it also allow you to kind of grow your catalog of inventory and then just become more powerful, right? And then hopefully people are going to be reaching out to you for resources, and you're going to be trading in some elite cards that would allow you to kind of become that elite player in your zip code. So here in this particular time frame, we did start testing it out. We obviously did not get enough budget or resources to generate a mobile app, but we do have a draft on paper. So let me go ahead and hopefully you guys are going to see me move my camera a little bit. But the idea here is to show you guys kind of our paper format of the game, right? So as you can see, I'm representing 17603 Lancaster. Here's my board. Trevor has not hit. Actually, he did hit one of my guys already, but he had a couple misses. And then, Trevor has his over there, where obviously I've gotten a couple. And then obviously here are my shields. I did not collect any shields today. We are trying to kind of somewhat simulate what the play testing would look like, but I was able to kind of go out there and generate what it would look like to collect the cards, to collect the resources, and then obviously what it would look like. For example, this is one of the business that we would pitch this to. Say, hey, listen, we had to come here to get this card. As a business, would you be willing to participate in this program and hopefully kind of get you some elite cards? So that kind of wraps it up for us, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our presentation. If there's any questions, obviously feel free to reach out to us. But yeah, this is Trevor and Jaime, and our presentation once again is Civil War. All right, guys, thank you very much, and that concludes our presentation.